This is Kelly Hill, technology reporter for RCR Wireless News. I'm here at LTE North America with Raphaël Glatt, who is head of signaling at Bics. And we're going to be talking about Volte Roaming. And we're also going to be talking about the impact of signaling that you folks see on the networks, as well as some of the work that you do in big data and analytics. So let's go ahead and start with Volte Roaming. That's been a topic that's come up here at LTE North America. Give us some of your thoughts on, what's standing in the way. What are some of the technical challenges? What is the work being done on Volte Roaming?
Yes. Good afternoon, Kelly. Thanks a lot for enabling me to explain this. So, Volte roaming is a topic that is not much touched today in the LTE North America, but is still an important part. And it's not only about roaming, it's also about interworking. The international component has challenges and not yet fully defined by the GSMA. So if you look at the interworking part, Bics has enabled a successful trial between two operators, Proximus in Belgium and SKT in Korea. And we discovered some challenges on the interoperability that I suppose apply also on the national level to operators. Challenges such as the fact that you need to be able to have a certain release of your IMS core, that you need to be able to streamline your parameters on your IMS core business, that you need the Bics hub, the Volte hub, to act as the hub between the operators and streamline all those parameters. That is one of the main challenges that we have seen in those calls, especially because you have also the breakout to the legacy voice, both sides, from legacy to Volte and Volte to legacy. On the roaming part, what we see today is, as the GSMA has defined 3 different models on the roaming, only one is really tested today and trialed by operators. We see that the 3 models is basically the one that brings the best quality is local breakout. Either you route it through the home network or the visited network. This gives you optimization, quality. It gives you the fact that you still have emergency calls possible. But what operators do today is they use what we call the S8 home routing. They route the call over the data, or the international data. What brings it gives them full control on the call, but you still have issues on emergency calls, and it has an impact on the charging principles, where in the traditional roaming business you charge per minute. Suddenly it's just a data call, high quality, but still a data call, so you charge per megabyte. So it changes the whole business model also around Volte roaming.
So let's go ahead and talk next about some of the things that you folks are doing in terms of big data and analytics.
Yes. So what we did today at Bics is we have probed all the technologies on our network. We have probed all the technologies on our network. We probed the SS7, traditional 2G, 3G signaling, the diameter, the 4G signaling, the SIP, the Volte signaling, the voice-over-IP, the data itself, so the GRX, the real internet data, we call it, and the roaming data. And we bring it all together to enable an operator to manage his international traffic, both on quality monitoring, and a big work is done on the business intelligence to help them to monetize all this roaming business and their Volte and their data business. For example, we give them a way to look into how the traffic is managed, what type of application are used, which users are silent, so that you can enable campaigns to them and enable them to have better quality, better and usage, enable them to use actually the roaming on data and in the future on voice-over-LTE also. And this helps also. The next step is also one of the big topics we see on the GSMA is everything about fraud. We have enabled tools on the voice fraud, what we call Fraud Guard, which is all the fraud topics about voice, where we also add the TAPFAS and the revenue base into the component to check if you're losing money. And at the same time, there's a big hype about security, both on SS7 and diameter. And there we work a lot on providing the KPIs, providing the consultancy to be able to operator to see this in real time. So we provide them dashboards where they can see all those different fraud in almost real time and take an action. And it could be implementing a system or blocking at their network level, or ask Bics or their provider to block at the network level. And so this is a lot of added value that we try to add on top of the traditional core network services, which are just the signaling and the voice-over-LTE traffic.
Speaking of signaling, that has been another topic that has been tackled here at LTE North America. What are you guys seeing in terms of signaling trends and how those are evolving?
So what we see is clearly a surge in signaling, but not only in the new signaling, which is diameter and the SIP, but also in the traditional SS7 signaling, because of the fallback mechanism, the fact that LTE is still about data, you still need to go back to voice, and also because of the fact that you still have to register on all the networks. So Volte will bring a new surge of signaling on the IMS part, because of the fact that you register both on data and in the IMS core and on the 3G, and if you look future, maybe on the voice over Wi-Fi, and this signaling is still there. And at the same time, you have the coverage issue. Is that you don't cover your country in 4G like you cover them in 3G. It took years to go from a full coverage on 2G to 3G, correct or better than correct coverage. 4G is still far away from that. And this enables an increase of signaling on our network, and operators have to tackle that also. So we speak about easily, instead of an increase of 10% average, an increase of 30%, 40% per operator, just on a yearly basis, because of all those components coming together.
Because of handovers and fallback?
Yes, because of the handovers, the fallback, and so on.